just remember saying, I didn't want to come in because everyone in the hospital's got coronavirus. At one point I felt my waters break. Like I felt that pop sensation, and I saw there was like more that black water. And I mustered up every single bit of strength I had in me, and I pushed so hard. I mean, like so hard, and I felt her head. The head was there. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, Mums and Tea, for queens who happen to be mum. Today's video is going to be a quick one. I just wanted to basically give you the lowdown on what it's like giving birth during these crazy coronavirus times. Coronavirus pandemic, as we all know, has just taken over everything, you know, from lockdown, a lot of people working from home, a lot of people being let off work. It's affected our hospitals, it's affected, you know, the NHS, it's affected every single area of our lives, including mine, especially mine, because I, you know, was very heavily pregnant up until about a week ago. But yes, this video is just basically me going into what it was like to go into hospital, because that was one of my fears, one of my biggest anxieties towards the end of my pregnancy, what it was like going into the hospital, and my labour and birth story. So stay tuned if you want to hear all about it. And if you are new to my channel, please do subscribe. There are loads of videos I'm sure you would love, and if you are a subscriber, welcome back. So as I said, I've got a new addition to my family, and I am so excited. Well, the big gender reveal is she's a girl. We decided to keep that bit quiet. Not even quiet, we didn't even find out. So that was, you know, that was very interesting. But I'll tell you all about that in a bit. Let's go straight into what it was like going into the hospital. As I said, it was one of my biggest fears, and I was very anxious about going in because I just didn't want to catch coronavirus. I actually, towards the end of my pregnancy, I was discussing with my midwife about, you know, holding a birth at home, because I was just trying to avoid going into hospital. But sadly that was cancelled because the ambulance service could no longer support the midwives at home, because that was, you know, that would have been dangerous if anything happened and the ambulance couldn't get to you on time. So they cancelled all home births within Greenwich. That's where I live, the borough of Greenwich. So I was gutted, I was really devastated about that. But actually, I found that going into the hospital wasn't that bad. It actually wasn't that bad, and all my fears kind of just melted away, and I'll tell you why. I actually went into the hospital at around 3 AM. The place was basically derelict. Of course, that time of the day or the morning, you would expect, you know, it'd be very quiet, but it was very quiet. There was, oh mama, there was security at the front door. You weren't coming in if you didn't need to be there. That put me at ease. At least you know that there's no one just roaming around in the hospital aimlessly. That if you were in the hospital, it's because you actually really genuinely needed to be there and needed care. In the hospital that I gave birth, even your birthing partner could only come into the birthing suite or the delivery ward once you were in active labour, and had to leave pretty much immediately after. So, you know, so as not to overstay your welcome, if you like, trying to minimise the contact between people, which is fair enough. Another thing that put me at ease is when I was actually in the labour, in my birthing suite, the midwife, the main midwife and the other one, they were very respectful of, you know, the guidelines, washing their hands at all times, keeping a safe distance, you know, as they can, given that I'm in labour, wearing the masks, even though it was really hot in the room. Bless them, they were saying, you know, it's quite hard to communicate because it's so hot under there, but they still kept their masks on. They were very respectful of that, and that I actually can't complain. All in all, I think going into the hospital it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, if I'm honest. And like I said, everyone was very respectful of the guidelines. If you didn't need to be there, you didn't need to be there. And it actually, it wasn't as bad. That's the truth, honestly. So now I've got that bit out of the way, I'm going to talk about my labour and birth in full. If you're ready, grab a cup of tea, because you're gonna need it. Okay, so let's start off with the day that I actually gave birth. Oh, it's all flooding back to me. It wasn't that long ago. It's literally only about, how old is she now today? She's like 5 days old today, so it wasn't that long ago. It's all fresh in my mind. So the day that I gave birth, on the day, I was just fed up. I was just like, I was pretty much 39 weeks. I turned 39 weeks that day, and I was just like, I want baby out. Like, I'm so uncomfortable. You know what it's like when you get to the end of your pregnancy, you're just like, oh, everything's just a struggle. You know, I could feel baby's head was like already really low down in my pelvis. So I was just like, okay, what can I do to get this baby out? So I went for a very, very long walk just outside the grounds where I live, and Ezekiel decided he wanted to join me. And not only join me, but he refused to walk. He wanted to be in his pushchair. I do have a video of that I will put up. Alright guys, I'm basically 39 weeks at the moment. Well, I turn 39 weeks tomorrow. And I'm bored in the house, and I'm in the house bored. So I'm going on a very lengthy walk. I'm supposed to do it on my own. Then lo and behold, who started crying? This one. You started crying, didn't you? Didn't you? He started crying. Not only was he crying, he refused to just walk. So I'm having to push him in the pushchair. I'm so upset. But you know what, maybe the exercise is going to do me good. I'm literally just walking around my house, hoping to, I don't know, start something. I don't know. I read online that walking, oh gosh, let me not cover that camera, that walking can actually like help you your cervix to dilate. And I know I'm already dilated because I've been feeling these like small twinges and little mini contractions for a while. Sorry, I look a hot mess. My hair, everything. I've not seen the light of day in a few days, so forgive me. But yes, it's like the afternoon. Let's turn back round, Des. I'm just literally gonna do laps like up and down, like where I live. And yeah, fingers crossed guys, hopefully this does something. I will definitely keep you updated. I'm gonna keep like a log, video log, vlog, whatever. But yeah, hopefully this will help start something. But I guess it was good because it was extra. It was me doing extra work. It was like a little bit, you know, exerting more energy, pushing him around in the pushchair. So I went for a walk for about an hour, and after that I could feel that, okay, something has happened. I felt, you know, baby went really low down, so that was quite helpful. And the reason I did that was because I read that walking can actually stimulate blood flow into your cervix and start the opening and closing, you know, of early labour. So I was like, yeah, I'm going for a walk. And by that point I had been at home. I've been at home for like what, 3-4 weeks. So I was just like, yeah, I haven't done a proper walk like this in ages, let me just do that. So I did. So that was good. And then when I got back in, I asked hubby to make me a curry. I really wanted a spicy curry, not even just to induce labour, I fancied a curry. So he made me a spicy curry, a spicy chicken korma, which was lovely. But anyway, let me not even ruin it. That chicken korma came back to bite me in the bum, but well, let's not get into that just yet. Let me hold off on the juicy bits. Yeah, so I had a spicy curry in the evening. I had one helping, then we put Ezekiel to bed, and then I had another helping whilst we were watching Tiger King. We watched like 2 episodes. By the end of the second episode, it was about 10:30. boom, I felt the first contraction. And you know, throughout the week I've been feeling Braxton Hicks, but this one I was like, no, this is it, this is definitely it. So I got out my timer, the timer app, to time the contractions and how far they were apart, and because I was like, yeah, there's no way that's not a contraction. So I started timing them, and then within half an hour it was like, oh, your labour's actually established. And I was like, what? The timer actually said, you know, to be an established labour or to be an active labour, you've got to have, in 10 minutes you need to have 3 contractions that are lasting 45 seconds or longer. So within half an hour I was like, okay, this is weird, let me call my sister to come and look after Ezekiel whilst we go to the hospital. But I thought, okay, you know, it says I'm in established labour, but I don't want to go in just yet. Again, my fear of going into the hospital, I thought, let me just wait, let me call the hospital and see what they say. So I called them. The lady that picked up asked me to describe, you know, what was going on, talk her through, you know, like my contractions, how I'm feeling. And by the end of the conversation, she said that she was confident that I was probably in early labour, but it was completely up to me. And she, you know, she couldn't tell unless I came in. She was like, it's completely up to you. You can come in now, or you can come in, you know, when you really feel ready. You can give it some time and come in later, but it's completely up to you. So obviously I thought to myself, well, I don't want to go in, especially if I know if I'm not in, or if I'm not 4 centimetres or more, my hubby's going to have to like sort of wait outside, and I didn't really want that. So I thought, I'm going to hold off. So by this point it was around 12 o'clock. I had called my sister, I had called the midwife at the hospital, and the contractions were coming in thick and strong. But I waited for my sister to arrive. She came at about 1, and I thought, okay, let's breathe it through, let's breathe through them, let's, you know, all the hypnobirthing techniques that I've been reading about, I sort of brought them into play. I was relaxed, I was breathing, you know, through them, and it was very, very painful. But it was so different to Ezekiel in that Ezekiel's pregnancy, I was induced, I was in the hospital, everything was kind of, you know, like synthetic in terms of like, you know, my labour and like having to push. I felt it, but I felt like it was rushed because I was induced, whereas this came naturally by itself, so I could feel everything. So yeah. Oh, mama, hello. Yes, I know. So I was breathing through them, using the app. That was helping me as well. And then by 3, I was like, you know what, I can't do this. We have to go in. I'm in too much pain. Not that I wanted pain relief or anything, but I just wanted to be checked over because it was just getting too much for me. They were coming in really strong, like very like flooring me almost. So grabbed the hospital bag, put on my jacket, put on my flip-flops, and then we went over to the hospital, which is literally around the corner from where I live. And we went in, they checked me, and I was only 3 centimetres. But they said they were not going to send me home because this is second baby and anything can happen. But they weren't going to allow us into the birthing centre until I was 4. So they said, what you've got to do, walk around outside the birthing centre and just walk up and down the ward. Again, it was 3:30 by this point. There was nobody, it was derelict, there was nobody there, everything was kind of shut. So it was fine to just walk up and down. I walked up and down for about half an hour. It's very difficult. I think I only managed to walk up and down maybe like 3 or 4 times in that time. But by the end of that half an hour, I was like, all right, this is getting a bit much. I really feel the urge to push. So I went and they checked me again, and they said, all right, cool, you are 4 centimetres now, so you can come into the birthing centre. So I was really excited. I'd never been in the birthing centre before. Like I said, Ezekiel, I was induced. It was a totally different pregnancy. But yeah, I went into the birthing centre and they asked me immediately, you know, they gave me some gas and air. They were like, would you like to have a water birth? Do you want to go in the pool to calm down? And I was like, yes. It was lovely in the pool. I'd stripped off, gotten everything off, and it just felt so calm. I felt so relaxed in the water, although at one point I was convulsing, but I did that at with Ezekiel's pregnancy, I was just literally, I was shaking, and it was uncontrollable. I literally could not control the shakes. But I was very calm. The water was calming, and I was just taking gas and air through the contractions, which really, really helped. So this was about 4 o'clock by this point that I'd gotten into the water. So as they were coming, I was taking the gas and air, and I kept saying I need to push. But when I pushed, I was pooing. Yes, guys. So embarrassing, but hey, it's motherhood. This is the real, you know, I promised I would always keep it real with you guys. I pooed like 10 times. I pooed 10 times in that water. Yep, it was basically a shit show. It was so bad. I blame that curry, I blame that chicken curry. And the worst thing is, it wasn't even a type of poo that you can easily just scoop out and just be like, you know, the midwife was trying to scoop it out. When she scooped it out, it just spread everywhere. Oh my God, it was awful. It was so bad. And like, I felt a little bit embarrassed, but I was just like, whatever, I don't really care. We tried to drain out the first set of, you know, mucky waters, and I just kept pooing, so we just left it. That was the least of my worries. With the poos, I kept feeling her head. Literally, I kept feeling her head, and with each sort of poo, it was coming. Her head was coming. There was no denying that. And at one point, I felt my waters break. Like I felt that pop sensation, and I saw there was like more that black water, and the midwife looked very concerned, and she said, right, Atinuke, I can see that your waters are broken, but baby's distressed, baby's done a poo, the waters have come out black. So if I do not see the head in the next push, I'm gonna have to take you out and take you to the labour ward. And in my head I was thinking, God, I don't wanna, her head is basically there, I don't wanna come out of the water. I mustered up every single bit of strength I had in me, and I pushed so hard, I mean like so hard, and I felt her head, that the head was there. Then the midwife was like, okay, no need to worry, I can see loads of hair, baby's head is there. Right, what I need you to do is just keep pushing, listen to your body, push on the next contraction. So I was pushing. When I felt the next contraction, her head came out a little bit more, and then I again repeated that process. I think it took like maybe 3 or 4 pushes to get her head out. Obviously, bearing in mind, we did not know what it was at this point. And then the midwives were like, come on, you're doing really well, just a couple more, we'll get her body out. And then, oh my gosh, that feeling of relief, that last contraction, when the baby just comes out, oh my gosh. I really wish I recorded it for you, but like I said, it was very bad. There was poo everywhere. There was no way I was recording that for you guys. No way, none whatsoever. But the baby just slid out, and it was the best feeling. I saw the umbilical cord coming up with the baby, and then the midwife put her straight on me. She gave a little gargle, but she didn't cry properly, so they were rubbing her, and I was just like, oh my God, what is it? And then I lifted up her leg, and I saw that it was a little fanny. There was no willy there, and I turned around to my husband, and I was like, oh my God, it's a girl. He cried. He's gonna deny and say he didn't cry. I saw tears in his eyes. He was crying. And it's quite funny because when I spoke to him after, he thought it was a boy because of the umbilical cord. He was like, oh, that's a big one, isn't it? And then when we checked and it was a girl, he's like, oh, it makes sense. But yeah, they put her on me, and they were just like rubbing her, and then when I found out it was a girl, I was so, oh my God, you don't even want to know. I was so happy. I was crying. I was just like, oh my God, thank God. Like, it was perfect. Like, everything was perfect apart from the poo. It was a really good birth, honestly. I can't complain. The midwives were spectacular, really looked after me. I'm so glad I did it just with gas and air. And yeah, that's how she came out. They cut the umbilical cord. Well, my husband cut the cord, and I got out of the water. Husband was doing skin to skin. They were taking the placenta out, and then within half an hour She just checked to see if I tore, and I did. But with Ezekiel's pregnancy, they had to do an episiotomy, so they had to cut me, and I had stitches, so she just grazed through that when she was coming, so I had to have stitches again. And that's another kind of embarrassing bit. I was so high on gas and air, I was talking the most rubbish. Honestly, it was, I remember bits of it. I was like, obviously when you're on gas and air, you're high as a kite, but I just remember saying, I didn't want to come in because everyone in the hospital's got coronavirus. And then my husband was like, Tin, you need to be quiet now. You need to, you know, zip it because you're not talking sense. And then I was like, oh no, but not you, to the midwife. No, not you, as she was stitching me up. That's the only bit I remember. But I was talking loads. I was talking loads of rubbish. But yeah, so after they had stitched me up, I would say after an hour she was born. She was born at 6:30, so it was 8 hours in total. My husband had to leave because, again, you know, they're just trying to follow safe guidelines. So because she had done a poo, we had to be kept in the hospital for 12 hours so they could do observations on her. So it was literally just me and her in the hospital for the 12 hours. She was fine, everything was fine, they were happy, and we were discharged by about 7. So yeah, that is all in all the labour and delivery story, and also giving birth during the coronavirus pandemic. It wasn't as bad as I thought. I personally had a good experience, and I just wanted to, you know, sort of document this video just for other mums who might be pregnant at the moment, who might be anxious and worried about going in to hospitals because of coronavirus. Don't be. Everything's going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Baby's going to be fine. Just like I am, and my little princess. We're all good now. Thank you so much for listening. If you are pregnant and you're about to go into labour, listen, don't worry about the poo. It's gonna happen. If this is your first time, don't worry about that. I did it my first time, I did it my second time. I just seem to be one of those women that like to poo a lot during labour. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You will be fine. Your body was meant to do this. Your body was built to do this. Just listen to your body, and, you know, listen to the midwives. And if you feel like something isn't right, then speak up, but don't be quiet about it. But yeah, let me not ramble on. I'll let you get on with the rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.